Welcome to Wise Move, where we dive into real estate, real life, and real wisdom. I'm your host, Meredith Buckland, a top realtor in the greater Atlanta area with over 12 years of experience. I have had the privilege to help hundreds of clients navigate their moves successfully while gaining a wealth of wisdom along the way. As Einstein said, wisdom is not a product of schooling, but of the lifelong attempt to acquire it. So join me as I connect with clients, colleagues, and industry experts to discuss market trends, share valuable advice, along with real-life stories that can help make every move a wise move. Welcome back to Wise Move. Our guest today is Lanada Chanel Duncan, and she is the founder and principal designer of BE Decors Interiors right here in Roswell, Georgia. And she has been redefining modern living spaces through a wellness-centered design. And her work has been featured in Voyage ATL Magazine and also just celebrated for blending biophilic design, color psychology, and emotional wellness into beautiful, functional spaces. And what a mouthful all of that is. But she is the amazing visionary, though, behind the She Cave concept, which we're going to dive in today. And Lanada, I just want to welcome you to Wise Move. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. You are my neighbor here in Roswell, Georgia, and I love for our community just to learn more about your business. And so I'd love to start just right back at the beginning, at the heart of what you do. And
Okay.
you will often talk about the differences between a house and a home. So I would love to hear your perspective on that and what really turns a property into a sanctuary.
Oh, great. Yes, I do talk a lot about that. And it's not, I don't think it's rocket science at all to any of us. And I think sometimes it just is a reminder of how we feel when we're in a space. And so I more so remind people of the differences. And I've had to even train myself over time to really refer to my house more of as a home. And I think the difference is for me is that we live in our house, we get a house, we go, we put our stuff in it, we live in our house, but we experience a home. And I think that is the difference. Our home is our safe haven. It is our restoration place. It is our retreat zone. It is our escape from the things that we encounter as we go out into the world. And we personalize our home according to our quality of life and our lifestyle and what we want to escape all of that to, right? And I think that's what the home is. It is that experience. It encompasses all of the experiences that we want to have when we come away from all of that. So for many people, yeah, it is just that. It is our safe haven. It is our restoration. It is our family zone where we gather with loved ones and friends. And so a home is the experience of all of that. A house is just moving your stuff into it, and that's you just occupying it, right? A home is what you're experiencing. So I think
Yeah.
that's what the difference is. And I talk a lot about that experience. So that's what I do is help others create the experience that they want to have in that house to make it a home.
Yeah, I love that approach. And especially as a realtor, I'm taking people into homes. And of course, we're trying, when we're helping them sell, to
Yes.
neutralize it somewhat so people can imagine their new space. But
Yes.
then as a realtor, bringing them in and trying to help them see the vision and the potential of where this space could go to be
Sure.
like
Sure.
there. So, how often are you doing that when you go in? You're starting probably from scratch in some cases, built on the back of whatever that previous owner did. But can you share maybe a story where your design changed the way a client then felt in their home or how you were able to bring that about?
Yeah, that's a kind of what a lot of our projects are about when we work with our clients is doing just that. It's helping them customize their space, personalize it so that they can really feel connected to their living spaces. And here recently, just last week, I finished a space for busy medical professionals, two physicians, and they have lived in their home for what since 2019, I'm sorry. So what, 6 years? And while the house is a beautiful home, gorgeous, it is one beginning to show some of the age of it because it was built for a family that had it previously and it was more customized to them. And so while they love their house, love their space, their living spaces, they didn't utilize the basement like they wanted to. It was an area for him to, after long, busy days at the hospital, would come and watch sports and things like that. And while they had some pieces of furniture and just underutilized the other space, they didn't feel like they could connect to it. And so it's about them wanting to connect to this space that they have, this additional space, so that it felt like his real retreat zone for them to be able to enjoy when they want to kick back on weekends and it's football season and watch their football games and then want to escape to in the other area of the space and play some of their games. He has a beautiful chess game that his father gave him when he was young. So he played chess and he always wanted a nice pool table. And so I was able to go into that space and recreate it so that it feels personal to them, right? So that it houses the things that really helps him be able to retreat and restore. And I think that's what it's about. It's about spending time to really get to know the person, the client, to understand what it is that helps them relax, that what it is that helps them feel restored. And that goes to everything. I love to use the senses when I design. If I can incorporate all of the senses into a space, I think that works very well. So it's what he needs to see, what he needs to feel from textures, what he needs to smell even, and what he needs to hear as far as sounds goes. And so now that space, we just finished it a month early, so I'm really happy that they can enjoy it around the holidays. But now the space feels like them. The comments were that we really love the way it makes us feel. And I think that's the difference, is being able to allow them to have a different feeling. It feels like home now for them. It feels like it's their personal space as opposed to a beautiful house that they bought that kind of belonged to someone else. They feel connected. And I think that's the difference. That's what I'm wanting to hear, that these people, this wonderful couple can enjoy the home that they built. It's an investment that they've made, right, for them and their family. And I think you should be able to really enjoy your investment the way that you really want to. And that's what we're able to help them do, is make that connection to their investment so that it feels more like it's a part of them.
Yeah, that is a really great concept too, of personalizing it. So playing the devil's advocate a little bit in this question,
Yeah,
how do
sure.
you go in and as a designer go, okay, aesthetically, this is what I would do in this space, but I'm hearing that
Hmm.
you like this design or this need. And sometimes maybe they're in conflict, right? With maybe what you might perceive and need and think that space needs versus what they ultimately feel. So how do you give them the balance of here's a space that fits you, what you
Hmm.
like. It's also still a good design from a
Yeah,
designer standpoint that is going to go the distance. Breaking that down because there is a balance that needs to be played into that to some
absolutely.
point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I'll refer back to the same project. When we talked, there was a lot of discussion about the styles. And a lot of times people don't fully understand what style, or they can't put a label on the style that they like. And I understand that. I'm like that. I could be more eclectic one day and more contemporary modern another day and that kind of thing. And so my style probably is a mixture of all of that. But I think that it's really understanding what style means to them, what kind of pieces, furniture pieces, decor pieces, again, they want to see themselves living in, what relates more to their quality of life. A lot of designers will say they've literally looked into people's closets to match generally your style will reflect it in your fashion and what you like to wear each day. I spend time really understanding their style. And so initially they were like, you really like modern, a lot of modern, which is great. And I understand that. And I think what they meant, what we gathered from that is they want to bring their house up to date to where it feels like it's within the times. They love the curves in the furniture pieces, or they love the way things feel, the soft textures and the tones of things like that in a more modern state. totally understandable. Now, the house itself has a little bit some contemporaneous to it. And while you do want to make sure that maybe the style reflects to the period of the home and the type of home that it has, you still have to really give the client what they want. But we were able to marry the two where when we understood more of what they wanted from a style perspective, we were able to pull pieces together that are modern and that are contemporary and that had more of a mid-centuryness to it as well, so vintageness to, and create the type of style that they really felt that they're comfortable in. And I think ultimately it's not about what I see. It's not about, I'm not going to live in the home. So it's really about what the client wants. And it's my job to really get to the bottom of understanding what it is that they think that they want and really will function according to what they want and what the house needs to, other space needs to function as. And so as we show them pieces and things like that, that they, once we pull the design together, show them pieces and all, they can see that's what I'm talking about. That's what I need. And then it comes together, even if they can't fully describe it initially during an initial conversations or consultation times. And so I think that's why it's important for us to spend a lot of time with the client ahead of time. And people need to understand that if we're really going to present the type of space that you really want to live in, that you're going to love, and we want to go above and beyond in every project, right? Then we need to really understand what's in your head. We need to understand what it is you truly like, what it is that really does help you feel the way you want to feel in the space. So it comes along with communication, trusting each other that we can deliver and that I understand you and that I'm going to give you what you want. So we spend the time building that kind of relationship really up front. And then once they see the presentation, usually they understand that we get it. And then it's like getting them to trust the process, because during the process of a design, you see all kinds of things happening, right? And I know it looks like this right now. I know this is the towel we wanted, but I love that we were able to use some biophilia in this project, because I'm getting the clients now that really do come to me because they want this kind of wellness design that our foundation of our business is about. So they understand incorporating nature and biophilia and neurostatic design and things like that is really important because they're wanting this and they understand the values of this in their lifestyle. And so it's great for them to see it come to pass over time and trust that process. And so that we can reveal the kind of space they really love in the end.
Yeah. And again, all of this stems back from what I'm hearing is that you have become a really good active listener. And so many times that is a lost art. We listen to the point of when are they going to stop talking so I can talk, or we're not really listening to them. But in your design work, you have mentioned so many times that you are really sitting with them and spending time and trying to figure out down to the senses what they resonate with and how valuable that is, Lana, that you can bring that to them as a representative that ultimately will say, okay, I'm going to go back and build out what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing. And because you've spent so much time listening to them actively, you're able to then bring them a solution that they resonate with. And both in good design principles that you're incorporating, but also balanced with what they need in their home. So it makes it personal, that makes them a respite from the whole day in the world that they've encountered. So I love that. What a fantastic gift that is for your clients. And I just want to touch briefly before I move into some of your background. You've mentioned biophilia and wellness living. While those are probably common words in your arena, maybe some of our listeners, those are new to them. Can you just explain that a little bit more? Because we're hearing more and more of these terms, and I'd love for the audience just to understand fully what those mean when you say that.
Sure. And you're right. I'm sorry. I should have broken that down, but I'm loving that one. We're hearing more of it. Let me just say that because I've been talking about it for years. And I do think COVID, our experience in going through a pandemic, has made these things more relevant now in our day-to-day life. But biophilia in particular is the incorporation of nature's representation in our living space. So biophilia is nature in different representations. So it might be, we've always been putting plants in our homes. That's been happening for a lot of time. Plants, organic trees, things like that. But it's really about the representation of different forms of nature. So not just greenery and flowers, but it can also be like in this particular project, I've used towel that had biophilia nature representation on it. It could be the textures, it could be natural stones, it can be natural light, even making sure that we incorporate more natural light in our space because it's so very important. Natural light and our ability to focus, to relax. And it has a lot of the vitamin D is important for us to be able to, one, our circadian rhythm needs nature and it needs these things in our lives. And it's incorporating these things of nature or representations of nature in our spaces. It's working along with sustainable features in our homes that can help us live better, feel better. And then the neural design or neural aesthetics has a lot to do with textures and other things that go along with biophilia to help us live and be well. So wellness design is a mixture of intentional design, incorporating all of these things intentionally to help us live and feel and be better in our living spaces. And that's what wellness design does. So this has come to be more of a demand of service. We have more consumers are understanding the benefits of this. And we're seeing it represented in so many areas. Hospitals are really looking at this now and how it helps people heal faster, having biophilic nature or biophilia into their spaces as people go through recovery and things like that. So we're seeing hospitals use this. We're seeing lots of countries. Some countries are more advanced in this particular area than we've come. We're just getting to where we're seeing this more in businesses. So I talk to now businesses and help them understand how having wellness in their workspaces helps their staff and employees feel better as they're being more productive, focus more, and be more creative. So all of these things are important in just about every aspect of our lives.
Yeah. And I have heard some more discussions recently, even down to hospital cares and linen sheets and just discussions that kind of pique your interest, like things you never thought about before or understood. And I think sometimes we're so into efficiencies and fast pace and that we don't often realize some of the healing benefits that are around us organically and naturally.
Absolutely.
I know every time I travel to other countries, Italy or other places, the lifestyle is so much different and the way they enjoy food and the way they enjoy their pace and family, everything is so different. And I think we are not living here. We're not living like they are. And
I think we're getting to that point where we realize that self-care, one, is extremely important, right? And so we're seeing more of that. And I think that's the difference, that people are understanding that our living spaces has a lot to do with how we care for ourselves. So self-care has become the primary thing that we're looking for. Recreation, restoration, all of these things as well. But you can travel, as you said, you're traveling and you can go to just about any hotel now and you can see that they're incorporating these things into their design style. Biophilia is becoming big. They've got water fountains, they've got all of these things because they realize how it reflects in the experience that we have when we're around it.
Yeah. Even the hotels, they have their own collection of scents. And you walk in and you're like, that's the West.
And what do? We want to mimic that when we go home. We want that hotel set. So.
We need that mattress or we need that scent and all of the
Absolutely.
ambiance that creates that
the whole
again.
Experience. That's right.
That's right.
And that's what it is. It's experience living. That helps
I love
us.
that. Well, I know though that with all of this knowledge, there has been a personal journey that has brought you here to this point. So I would love for you just to give us a little taste and a little history of your life as a mom, an entrepreneur, everything that's helped make you creative and shaped your philosophy to date. Can you just allow us to step into your life for a moment and share that with us.
Sure. I am originally from Philadelphia, and so born and raised up north in Pennsylvania. But when I moved south, I got married and I had two sons and went through marriage for 13 years and got divorced, unfortunately, with my first husband. And I'm remarried now to a wonderful man. But there was a period of time where I had to go into the single momhood of raising these 10-year-old and 12-year-old on my own. And I think what that did for me is I had to, one, reestablish myself and reestablish my home at the same time, or the idea of home by myself. And so it was a struggle for a while, a challenge to figure out how to do that and piece together parts of my life and my environment so that I could create a home for me and for my sons so that they could feel like they could come back home from school and there was the comfort was there and the safe haven was there and the love was there and all of these things. And so a part of, I think, my passion for doing this has a lot to do with helping people to restore themselves and restore that idea of home. That I think is an underlying of what a lot of this means for me. I love to help people reestablish that kind of feeling for themselves. But I also worked for many years in the medical field, in administration, and caring for cancer patients at one point, and then transferring to another area and caring for patients day to day, or helping our physicians do that from the administrative side and managing staff and people and balancing all of that. I think there was always this passion or desire to want to see people be and feel better anyway. And as well as myself, I went through a stressful time at one point where I had a stroke in the back of the eye from dealing with stress and all of that. And I didn't even know that I was under that kind of stress from work and my son in college and all of these things. And so I think all of that allowed me to go through a paradigm shift where I had to see my environment differently and take better care of myself. At the time when I worked full time and I was struggling with how to grow a part-time business and still work full time, and then realizing that I really wanted to do interior design full time. It was that period of time where I realized things like a mom or a wife now remarrying and having her own personal space where she can retreat to. And our home is that, but it's great to have a space of your own where you can relax. There's no deadlines, there's no interruptions, things like that. It's for you to just practice your own self-care, whatever that looks like for you. And I created a she cave when my son went to college. I know I'm talking all around this, but these were things that I did and over time to, I guess, build the idea of what I wanted my business to look like. And that was helping other people create this type of environment for themselves so that they can be and live better, be whole, so to speak, as best we can. And I think all of that goes into how I work the business and why I think the passion that I do is because I'm connected to it. I've had to go through it myself personally. And I've never liked to see people depressed and full of stress. But when you go through it yourself for a while, you realize you got to get yourself better. And then I took what I had to apply for my own self, and I want to just apply that in areas that make sense for my business and for other people. So it's crafted my business in a matter of ways.
Yeah, but in a great way, because it's given you that perspective and that empathy and all of that to what is maybe needed in other people's lives for healing or for stability. So your business today, you're located here in Roswell. What is your business? Tell us about your business focus and what all areas of services are you offering and able to offer your clients? If you can just share about that, and then we can maybe break off from some of their.
Yeah, the business is BE Decors Interiors. And to be honest, I named it BE Decors at the time. We're about 10, 11 years old now. It's because I love the beach. Beachy earth tones was what I always would look at as all the colors, and not the beachy colors, but the softness of it and the earth tones, as my husband and I were beach bums. So we would go off and on. And I just love the peacefulness that experience would bring me. So I was like looking for a name, and I thought, Beachy Earth Tones. So BE Decor stands for Beachy Earth Tones, for those who didn't know. And there's a lot of people that when I say it, they're like, I never knew that. I toyed with changing the name, but now it's a brand, so it stays with me. But it is about still that peace that you get from connecting to the things that you love, sunsets on the beach walks, things like that. So that is the name of the company. And the foundation of it is really about wellness design. While I've talked about many things, generally that's the foundation, is about creating spaces where people can experience either the feeling of wholeness or restoration. And that comes in many different areas. It can come in a joyful space. We've done many types of spaces. We've done children kickback spaces. During the pandemic, we did more work than any other year, I think, doing bedroom spaces. Kids were going to school from home. Parents were working from home. So we helped create spaces that they felt like they can still retreat to, have their distance with, but still be able to work and things like that. But we work along, in addition to, we do residential interior design and small commercial design. We don't do a lot of tearing down of walls, reconstructing, but we do painting, we do surface changing, we do fireplace restorations or refacing. We do flooring, all of these things we still do, and we literally can reface and redesign a space. We have worked with small businesses. We've worked with, like I said, individuals, families. Busy families are generally a lot of our families. Our clients are busy professionals that generally want to create this type of environment for themselves, but they don't quite have the time. They're too busy, or they don't have the know-how, and they just want to extend their resources and allow someone to source for them to just go in and do the actual space for them. But we do full service. We have had clients that we do just consulting with. So we create renderings. We can actually put together a design plan, and you can take it from there if you're a DIYer. But a lot of our clients do a full service as well. We work with realtors also in the area, occupied home staging. So if the seller is still in the home, or they've moved out but still have furnishings and things like that in the home, we can go in and we can sit with the realtor as well as their seller and help them edit their space, reimagine the space, depersonalize the space and reimagine it, and create a space that's marketable and that's appealing to the type of market that they're interested in drawing for that home, so that they can get the most for their home and sell it as fast as possible. So we've done all of those things as well. And then we do holiday decorating. The passion of mine is Christmas trees. I love Christmas. It's one of my favorite seasons. And we've been doing Christmas trees for so long, we do have a steady clientele that kind of always have us come in and decorate their trees. We do beautiful trees up to 13 feet. And we do our holiday decorating at the end of the year. So we generally like to fill the year with all of our projects and then do the holiday stuff at the end of the year. But I'm spending a lot more time doing webinars as well, and discussions like this, where I talk to small groups and we talk about either the well-designed home or the well-staged home, so that we can appeal to different markets that way.
Yeah. Wow. You are a busy woman. How many members do you have of your team? Are you a large group, or is this you?
Okay, so I say that, and I could see my husband, who's not here, but looking at me
It's like
sideways.
when
I have a part-timer who she works
Yeah.
part-time with me when I have installations and things like that, but she also has a family and she works a part-time. So I do have a part-timer. I have someone who helps me administratively, and then my husband handles some other side things for me, and then my son when I need to. But I work with contractors who are wonderful. I've worked with my contractors for years, and so they do handle a lot of the heavy lifting for me. And then the painting and the flooring, they do all of that for me. But the rest of it is the woman of many hats.
Yeah. Yeah. You have the imagination and the creativity, and then you're general contracting it. Basically, I'm going to oversee it and connect. And
I do.
yeah, that's a lot, but it's very fun that you even are able to incorporate even this holiday decor. And so many people, you can get overwhelmed even in that. I am sitting here personally thinking about the conversations I've just had recently. It's almost time to pull all that out. And then and then it's only for a month or so, and then we have to take it all the way down, and just the creativity that it takes. So I love that you are.
People are starting early now, and I've had
Yeah.
some trees locked in way before Halloween, and you need to start early. Product and all of that, and we know with the challenges, tariffs and shutdowns, it's caused challenge with products, but I
Yeah.
love doing it. I feel like when you're doing something you love, I love it all, then it doesn't feel like work.
It's a passion that you've developed. Okay, so tell me, what are some of the current trends that you're seeing, and how does that play into your world, especially when you're focused more on kind of a wellness design? But what new trends are you seeing that are influencing today?
I think that is the trend, wellness design, in all honesty. And I think it's gone from a trend to a value of a lifestyle. As a matter of fact, I think that Zillow, recently put a report out about how just the idea of wellness design and buyers, consumers are actually now replacing their previous needs and wants for homes that literally have this appealing to them. So much so that it's an area that's increasing the market up to 33%, I think it was. That is amazing, that one in itself. And so now we're seeing trends in things like, of course, we see the spa-like bathrooms that are becoming a big favorite. Of course, the smart toilets, things like that. We're seeing the saunas, indoor and outdoor saunas. The plunge tubs are huge, of course, right now. Who knew? So plunge tubs. But we're also seeing from a recreational side, for instance, again, the project I just did, it wasn't just a space where they could relax and listen to his record player and his records that he loved and watch TV, but it was another space beyond that had the recreational where they could somewhat entertain. We did a small kitchen area for snack enjoying guests, and then the pool tables, and then the chest area. But things like pickleballs, of course, people want the pickleball courts in their yards now. You see the golf, the simulators in the basement. So people want the little golf simulators. And so that's a huge thing. So they're mixing together this idea of recreation and restoration. And that's becoming something that's really big and huge in people's lives because that's their quality of life. And they've made this self-care mechanism a huge part of their living space. And I think the more that we understand that we're going this direction, we need to go this direction. And it's for health reasons, it's for wellness, whether it be physical wellness, mental wellness, psychological wellness. All of these things are so needed. And that's where we're seeing the trends going. Colors, just it's one of those things that's more personalized. Great that we're getting away from a lot of the whites because white can be so sterile and remind you more of a previous hospital setting because now they're incorporating color too. But it's like now we realize the importance of having maybe soft or various shades of blues for warmness, and green is huge. It's like the new black or the new white because everyone realized that this green reflected nature in a sense and how it helped them feel connected. So green is that connectedness color. But again, biophilia in general, you can find towel, you can find wallpaper, you can find all types of things with patterns of nature on it, just about every now. It's everywhere, right? And down to the fabric on a chair, more fabrics like that are just popping up everywhere. So nature's everywhere, green's everywhere. The trends are just showing that we more so want to be connected to life in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to go back a little bit to even in this, the staging and getting a home and property ready for market and maybe the staging, because oftentimes that's where we're advising to depersonalize, make this a little more neutral, but we still want it to be appealing to these buyers who now may be seeking this new design. So, what are you recommending as you maybe step into a home with an agent and a seller as far as maybe color psychology or textures or things that they can do to neutralize but still make that attractive in general? Are there guidelines that you're using with them?
That's a good question. I think that if they're looking to attract a wellness minded buyer, which I think I'm talking about a lot with groups now, and I think that's part of a key that they need to think about as it relates to a market, because that market is out there and it's growing. One, they need to understand just that, the mindset. So as you go into a space and you're looking at one layout of furniture would be important, making sure that we're exposing the natural light that could come into a home and really bring in as much natural light as you possibly can or show that the home can do that, because that's going to be huge for one, natural light. While, like I said, the whites can be neutralizing. It can also bring a sense of sterileness, but there are a lot of different shades of white or off whites that can still give that same impression, but feel a little warmer in a space and make a space feel a bit more cocoon-like, so to speak, and attractive. So as long as it's not a sterile white, or maybe adding a focal wall that has some color to it. So maybe in different rooms showing there's a focal wall that helps reflect the natural light or something like that. So using things that can reflect. But I would also make sure that, again, attracting that kind of that minded buyer is about maybe materials or things around it that might, natural stone pieces or natural pieces would be important. So putting some nature around the space might be awesome when we're looking at staging. Maybe when you're marketing the space, making sure that we promote and mention those things in the local area that might be appealing to a wellness-minded buyer. You have properties that definitely, which has been done, parks, but maybe some of the museums or some of the local things that, again, bring out either creative people that might be art related, or some of the things that happen in the local area that could be appealing to that kind of buyer. So you really have to think like that person would think who's looking for that kind of quality of life, and make sure those things are mentioned, whether from the marketing materials, when it's listed in the listings, but definitely from a staging perspective, as much as you can do to present the space as appealing to that. If it has space for, or basement space that could be utilized for that, then that needs to be mentioned. Perfect for indoor pickleball court, which people do want those now, or indoor golf simulating station or sauna. The bathroom is expansive or has the availability for expanding, perfect for expanding the bathroom for a sauna, introducing a sauna and things like that. And so making sure that those things that could be readily available or possible are mentioned, and maybe even set up for that for sure, to be marketed that way.
Yeah, that's great advice. And as we wrap up today, though, I want to go back to the she cave.
Okay.
Because that you started the conversation with it. You're known for that. So I want to get your perspective on, just tell us about the she cave. Tell us the direction that you've gone from that. And just give us a brief background on that.
I laugh at that because it's so appealing to so many women, and I love it. I'm like, and then for a while I was thinking, you don't have one, you need to. What? I started doing these little talks. I did these for a couple organizations on how you can create a she cave out of everything. Now, my son moved to college and I had other rooms, but there was a particular room that I'm in that gets great light. And I moved my space around so many ways, but I love the layout of this particular space, and the lighting was perfect. And I thought about the things that I wanted to do. And so I made his room the she cave. It wasn't really so that he would realize, okay, your room is used, so you can't come back. It's not anything. But I just feel like a woman needs to have, again, that kind of retreat zone for your kickback, whatever that looks like for you. And it is a part of your self-care routine. It is a part of we know that every 7 o'clock every night we have dinner and we meet in the family room and we watch news together or whatever we do together. And we have these other times where that's our connecting space, where it's a community natural space. But I just think that if you're a mom or you work in the office every day and you're always engaging with people and you're always giving so much of yourself, you need time for you. You need time to just be able to rest your thoughts, your head, and to just retreat back and release, right? Let your hair down. Look whatever way you want to look. No makeup, whatever it is, you need time to put your feet up, eat bonbons, and watch your favorite Netflix show and just say, I don't give a shit. So I think that's important. And I think you can find that space in just about anywhere. Now, if your bathroom is your only space you can do it, then make sure you make an appointment and schedule it on your calendar once a week, or you decide how often you need that, but you need to do that. So that's your she cave zone. Put a sign up. I have a sign on my door that says she cave. When I close it, they know what that means. And so I just think that you deserve this. You owe it to yourself. And areas under stairwells, I've made a closet right now that's big enough. We're making it a wine cellar because we have all this wine around. But that can be a perfect space if you've got a closet that can extend into a prayer closet or whatever that is. Think about what you need for your self-care and then make it happen. Because I think that makes you a better person when you leave outside of those doors for your family, for your employees, for whoever else. That makes you better. And it starts with you taking care of yourself.
Oh, I think this has been such great advice. It's very practical and basic, but it's often stuff we run right past and think we don't need. But really making that house a home.
Yes.
And even if it's simple, we don't have to spend always a lot of money. It could be bringing in, like you said, some just new scents or towels or textures or nature, stuff that just calms us. Maybe it's a little water fountain. Maybe it is making a room a she cave that we can do practically and simply and give us quiet respite. But then also knowing what a great resource you are. If we need somebody to come in and say, hey, help us turn our entire home into a respite. And to Christmas holidays, that's coming up. So that's really important to know.
I've done gifts and tickets for that.
Yeah. So you're January, February, you are really in your she cave after that. So
absolutely. I do a Christmas tree dress for my she cave, for sure.
Yes, you're like, no more. I have so appreciated your time, this conversation, and just helping us to know about you and your business, BE Decors, right here in the Roswell area. So tell us, where can my guests find you and connect with you for more information?
Oh, sure. My website is www.bedecors, so bdecors.com. Really easy. I'm on Instagram at b.e.decors. Facebook, don't post a lot there, but also on LinkedIn at Lanada Chanel Duncan. And yeah, feel free to reach out. I love to talk to anyone and everyone about this topic.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Lanada, for joining me on Wise Move and helping the area customers here in Roswell and beyond in all of our area. Yeah, to meet you and connect with you, and hope we get the opportunity to connect again.
For sure. Take care, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Wise Move. I hope today's episode provided you with the tools and insights you need to confidently navigate your real estate, community, and life journey. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and please share this podcast with friends and family who are making their own moves. Stay connected for more real estate insights, and remember, every great move starts with a wise move.